We begin with the exit after winning another national championship as offensive coordinator of the Georgia Bulldogs. Todd Monken has been hired as the new offensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens said they had a very extensive search. We had 14 candidates, 11 interviews, and you landed on what is widely regarded as a top offensive mind throughout the game of football. He has been, the offensive coordinator in the Tampa Bay Bucks. So being in the NFL is, nothing that is new for Todd Monken. This is not unfamiliar territory. And he did great work with this Georgia offense. Incredibly efficient group. Great job developing quarterback Stetson Bennett into the future NFL draft pick that he is going to be. So what happens at Georgia? Well, it gets pretty easy. Mike Bobo, what's old is new. Time is a flat circle. Kirby Smart looks at one end of the table. This is old buddy Mike Bobo. Kirby Smart looks at the other end of the table. This is old buddy Will Muschamp. I mean, just guys being dudes in Athens. What do you make of the decision to promote Bobo from analyst, and what are expectations for Georgia's offense going forward?
It makes plenty of sense. Like it's continuity more than anything. Like you're losing your coordinator, you're going to what you know. And Mike Bobo, like obviously he's been Georgia's offensive coordinator before. He was there for 8 years as the offensive coordinator. He played at Georgia. He's a quarterback. Everybody on that staff played there and now coaches there. I think it's not an exciting hire. Like if you're a Georgia fan and you think back to where we were on this show a few years ago before we became the Georgia pod that we are now, we were talking about how this was a program that kind of needed to open things up on offense. And they did to an extent with Monkin, but they were also still somewhat reserved because of their personnel at the quarterback position. And I think also by the head coach. So I don't think this is a surprise in that this is the direction that Kirby wants to go. I don't think it's a bad hire at all. Like if you look at Bobo's last couple of stops at Auburn, at South Carolina, they did not go great, but I don't put that as much on Bobo as I do maybe the personnel that those teams had. And I think he's going to be stepping into a situation with much better personnel in Athens that he was using in those spots. So I don't think we're going to see a team that's scoring 40 points a game and lining up 4 wide and doing all the kind of air raid stuff that everybody wants now. But I think they're probably going to be just as effective as they have been running the ball.
Is Mike Bobo the best candidate to replace Todd Monken? I kind of doubt it. Is he a bad candidate to replace Todd Monken? I also doubt that, right? Like Kirby and Will Muschamp played with the guy. They've been on staff with him for several years. He was Will's OC at South Carolina. And thank God for Georgia fans, Will's not the head coach because apparently you can't play offense if Muschamp's your head coach. But it's a very safe hire, I think. I mean, the guy is shown to be, in prior years, I believe, a reasonably competent to good offensive coordinator. You have really good players at Georgia. They're recruiting like crazy. I mean, the 2024 class they're putting together right now is nuts. I wonder how much of this is also his relationship with Dylan Raiola, the stud 2024 quarterback who was in Matt Stafford's luxury box for the national championship game, like former Ohio State kid, a really, really talented prospect. And Georgia's in the quarterback market this year at the high school ranks. So I wonder if some staff continuity there helps. To me, it's like a high floor hire. Maybe it's a high ceiling hire too. I don't think it's going to go bad unless Georgia gets a lot of injuries or all of a sudden quits recruiting. And that ain't happening.
So when I was around Georgia leading up to the national championship game, one of the things that some people around that program talked about was how much Kirby Smart values the relationship that the staff has with each other, that he does want to create I'm sorry for using the C word here, but like wants to create a good culture, like wants to create something where everybody on the staff really enjoys working with each other. He grinds, he demands a lot from these coaches, but I think that's where the personal relationship side of this is probably something that, Kirby wants to have fun winning at a high level. You're Georgia. You don't need to get out and like go spot an ace recruiter. Like your shirt with the G on it is the ace recruiter. Like you're winning national championships. You are operating at a peak efficiency right now, and being able to make sure that you're not bringing in someone who's going to create any disruption within the staff, somebody who's going to know exactly how things work. It honestly is similar to hires we've seen Nick Saban make, where you were bringing in someone that knows exactly what the expectations are. You're not going to rock the boat too much, but you are going to work hard. And so for that, I'm like, man, it must be nice to be Kirby Smart so that you can make these hires where your working relationship and your personal relationship can all be valued. You're not really under pressure right now. You just won 2 natties. Like no one's saying like, you got to ace this hire. It's like, no, we trust you. He's gotten so much leash with this hire right now. I'm going back to that idea that Kirby Smart values the working relationship between the members on his staff. And it's not a surprise at all then that it's somebody else who he's got a long, long relationship with.
Do either of you have any concerns about stagnation?
Yes.
Because like, another program that recently won 2 national titles,
Clemson.
and we told their coach, yeah, we trust him to make the hires he wants for his culture. So when you look at what Kirby's done, is played with his DC at Georgia, played with his OC at Georgia. They're all friends. They all know each other. It's kind of like an echo chamber of ideas. And that was the one thing, like Todd Monken came in and he wasn't from inside that, circle. He brought in different ideas, what he wanted to do on offense. And obviously he still had to fit it into what Georgia and Kirby wanted to do. I do wonder, or at least I don't think it's going to happen, but I do think you have to at least keep an eye on some possible kind of drop off, honestly, because we saw it with Clemson. When you keep doing the same things and there aren't new ideas, things get stagnant, things don't work. And Georgia didn't win any national titles without Todd Monken. So it's going to be interesting to see.
It's fair, I think, to worry a little bit about it because of what Tom just said. And I have tremendous respect for Todd Monken. I mean, like the guy made Stetson Bennett into a Heisman finalist. Okay. He's really a really good coach. I know producer Coca had to be overjoyed when Baltimore hired him. But I think the key difference here is that the guys Dabo was promoting had not done it successfully elsewhere. And we have seen Mike Bobo be a good offensive coordinator elsewhere. I'm not going to hold the 1 year at South Carolina, for that. And then the Auburn year necessarily against him. Like we've seen him have a lot of success as a coordinator before. The Georgia offenses that he coordinated were pretty good. We've also seen Will Muschamp be really good at running defenses. So like, yes, is he hiring his old buddies? Yes. But unlike the guys Clemson hired, who may someday turn out to be good coaches, they did not have prior success. Clemson's hiring guys or promoting guys that were just super green. At least Kirby's like promoting or hiring guys who have had success elsewhere.
I think Kirby's got a lot of leash because of the talent level and how good that team is defensively, especially with your offensive coordinator. I mean, they could just run the dang ball, Bobo, and probably go win another SEC East title. And they could just play field position and they could be very conservative. They could revert to being a conservative offense and still show up in the SEC championship game with a shot to play your way into the college football playoff.
Kind of off topic then, but if you revert to an old-fashioned kind of smash mouth offense and the playoff expands and now you can't just win 2 games, you've probably got to win 3, and you might have to face better teams than you were facing in the current 14 format. Is there any concern there?
Yeah. But I think that you get the leash. Like, that's why I say leash. Like, you've got the room where, all right, Kirby, like, this is what you get when you reach that level of success, is you get the benefit of the doubt is a good one here. All right, remember I said live questions all throughout the show. This one right on the topic. Dawson says, does Todd Monken leaving make it more likely that one of Georgia's quarterbacks transfer?
No, math makes it more likely because they're probably going to hit on a stud quarterback like Raiola in this cycle, and somebody's going to win the starting job, and somebody's going to lose the starting job, and will want to play as opposed to sitting for yet another year. So, I think the answer to that is no. There's no reason for me to believe that Monken had so much more of a better relationship with these quarterbacks than Bobo. I mean, I do kind of buy into the idea that Bobo's probably not quite as good of a play caller as Monken, but as far as quarterbacks, Bobo played the position. No, I don't think there's any real validity to that. I mean, unless you guys, am I missing something here?
No, I don't think. I mean, you just look at the quarterback position in general. I can't remember who did it, but wasn't it like 2 weeks ago? Somebody did like a research on the amount of quarterbacks who've transferred, like of the higher rated And wasn't it like 70 something% of QBs have transferred that were like the 4 and 5-star guys at some point in their career? I think if you have talented quarterbacks in your quarterback room, no matter who the offensive coordinator is, there's a high likelihood that one of them is going to transfer.